Guys, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home. Today I have a 4K review to do for you. It's been a little while since I did any 4K reviews, but I got a really cool title in from Paramount the other day, and I just finished watching it actually this morning and wanted to post my thoughts on the picture quality, on the movie itself, the audio, and all the different special features and packaging. So this is Pet Sematary. This is the Stephen King book, movie adaptation of the Stephen King book, and this is a remake of, I guess it's not a remake, it's just a new adaptation. There was another Pet Sematary, which also has a 4K release, which I believe came out in 1989, and now 30 years later, we've got Pet Sematary 2019. And so I just finished watching it. I'll give you, like I said, I'll give you my thoughts on the picture quality, audio, and we'll talk a little bit about the special features and different things that are available with this release. So with that being said, if you're enjoying 4K reviews like this and you want to see more content of this nature, I highly recommend you subscribe to the channel. It's easy. You click one button, you're subscribed. It'll let you know whenever I post a new video. Turn notifications on, and that way, whenever a new video is live, you will be the first to know. I appreciate all the subscribers. We've hit over 10,000, and now we're pushing on to that next, to 20, 25, 30, 50, 100,000 subscribers. We're just going to keep it going. But yeah, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, I'd really appreciate that. And without further ado, let's jump into this review. So just talking about the movie real quick, I really enjoyed the setting. First off, it's a Stephen King movie, so it's taking place in Maine. Basically, it's about the Creed family, mom, dad, daughter, and son. I'm blanking on the names. It's Gage and Ellie are the two kids, and the dad's name, I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but they move from Boston to Maine. They get this new little farmhouse, and they kind of discover that there's this pet cemetery in their backyard, and kind of some weird things go on. Their neighbor, Judd, he comes in and he kind of gives them a little bit of a background on kind of what's happening, and then down the rabbit hole they go. Pretty similar to the 1989 version. There are definitely some major differences, which I'm not going to talk about for spoilers. There are some major differences in this one, but it's an interesting kind of twist on what they've done here versus the remake. But overall, the base structure of the story is the same. It's a very simple movie, really. You've got the Creed family and Judd and their cat, and that's about it for major characters. There isn't really anybody else in the movie who gets more than 5 minutes of screen time tops. So it's very simple. It kind of takes place in this one location at their house between the Creed house and Judd's house. So it's a very simple but well done movie, I think. It's not super scary, I'll say that. If you're expecting a bunch of jump scares and stuff, they're not here. I think this is a good thing. It's much more traditional Stephen King, sort of just New England folklore, kind of creepy vibes. What's the story with the forest? What's the lore behind it? Native American type stuff going on, old legends, things like that. I mean, it's a horror movie, but there aren't a ton of moments that really made me jump. It's just kind of a really creepy vibe, which is nice. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good entry into this little Stephen King revival we've got going on with all the stuff on Netflix and the Hulu show, and Stephen King stuff is, for whatever reason, coming back in a full swing. But this is a good adaptation. I think it does a good job of taking on all the different themes of the novel, and it kind of focuses really on that major theme of like death and the afterlife, which is cool. Now for the 4K video transfer, I thought it was pretty solid. I did watch it on my projector and also watched it on my 4K TV, so I could kind of get both viewpoints. On the projector, the blacks were a little more washed out than on the TV, and that's just due to the projector. Once I popped it onto the TV, I saw that the blacks were actually nice and deep. The HDR does a pretty good job in the darker scenes of handling a lot of the kind of, it has a very grayish blue tint to it throughout the whole movie. And so that's kind of an interesting thing. It's not so much black as when it gets dark, it's usually gray or it's a gray blue. But the HDR helps with that. I thought the resolution upgrade over the Blu-ray was noticeable and helpful. Helped kind of bring out some more detail, especially in certain things like the cat and just like whiskers, hair, really fine elements like that. I thought that the 4K resolution really helped there. And, you know, just basic stuff like skin tone and some of the elements in the house and some of the gore and some of the scenes that take place back in the day with Zelda, who, if you know Pet Sematary, you know all about Zelda. I thought there was some really good mixed use of color there, and the 4K resolution really helped out. But overall, again, HDR is the reason you buy these movies on 4K. It's not so much the resolution, in my opinion, but it's the HDR. Now, for the audio, it does have a full Dolby Atmos track, which I thought was excellent at times, but kind of underutilized. It's not a kind of movie that's going to get a lot of use out of the Atmos, but when it does, it performs really well. There are certain sequences where something is maybe on the roof or in an attic, and the character is below that and hearing noises above their head. Height effects are really good for that. When they're in the woods, when they're in the forest, and they're kind of walking around at night and you're hearing all the different ambient sounds, surround speakers were very good for that. I was actually surprised at how clear some of the stuff was clearly coming out of the right and left surrounds and not really being mixed with you know, any of the front or centers. They really wanted that to be kind of a background noise, which you're kind of hearing in the back of your head, which is cool because it kind of freaks you out and you're going, what's over there, what's over there, and it's not being, you know, super mixed in with the rest of the sound. So that was kind of a cool effect. There were multiple times where I actually thought something was happening outside of my house because I live, you know, in a suburban area where there's a forest behind my house and stuff, and I honestly wasn't sure sometimes, is that the movie or is that just what's going on around me in nature? Because it was that convincing. So the Atmos track I thought was very good. It's just not the type of movie where you're going to get blown away, not going to be a reference quality thing. But dialogue was very clear. There's a pretty good soundtrack to this. I thought some of the music was pretty creepy. They did a good job with that. It's just the type of movie I'm glad it has an Atmos track. Paramount has been very good with putting Atmos tracks on their 4K releases. It's just probably not necessary if you have a 5.1 or even, you know, maybe a very high-end sound bar. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, but a 5.1 for sure would, you know, take full advantage of this stuff. I noticed a lot more of the surround effects than I did the heights. And Subwoofer action was also very good. Horror movie, lots of deep bass, lots of kind of thumps in the woods and in the houses and old houses, and in the subwoofer effects were nice, kind of subtle at times, but I thought that, you know, having the good subwoofer that I have from SVS Sound is pretty important when watching a horror movie because they always have those low frequency sounds to try to, you know, freak you out basically. And the subwoofers here did a great job. My new receiver also killed it, the Denon AVR 2600XH that I just got in. This is the first full-length movie I've watched. Obviously I was on vacation, and so this is the first movie I watched where I had you know, the full Atmos experience without just doing some tests, and it performed great. It hooked up very quickly. There was no problem with the encoding and deciphering what the disc was playing back to the receiver. It picked up Atmos, showed Atmos right on the display screen, and it sounded great. Had no issues at all. So props to the new receiver. Seems to be working out much better than my older one. So now for packaging, as you've seen, you just have a standard slip cover here. Paramount is still kind of hard coding, I guess, these HDR stickers on here. Don't know if I love those. And on the back, you've got some more stuff. Again, opening this up, you've got the same artwork on the front. It does come with a digital 4K copy, which I've already pulled out. But other than that, pretty basic. You just got 2 discs, no disc art, Blu-ray, 4K, pretty simple stuff, nothing crazy. Now, special features are all on the Blu-ray disc for this. You are going to get a few pretty cool things. So first thing is there's an alternate ending. So if you've seen this, you know how it ends. The alternate ending kind of gives it a different spin. I thought it was cool. I think I still prefer the ending they went with, which is usually the case with these type of things. But to have an alternate ending and see how the filmmakers were thinking about it is pretty cool. Also, 7 deleted or extended scenes. So there's a few more elements in there. There's a feature called Night Terrors, which looks at the different visions that each family member has that kind of haunts them throughout the movie. And then there's, 90 minutes of other bonus content. There's things like, just behind the scenes and little featurettes on making of type things. Like, the typical standard stuff. The 90 minutes of bonus content also includes the deleted and extended scenes and the alternate ending. That makes up the majority of it, and then there are a few other features. But overall, it's a pretty good release. I thought the 4K was good. Honestly, you'll probably be okay with a Blu-ray on this if you want to save a few bucks. But at this point, when the difference between a Blu-ray and a 4K is like $3 or $4, I'd always say go with the 4K. It is a good 4K disc. You're not going to go wrong getting it on 4K. If you really do need to save a few bucks, the Blu-ray will be okay, and I believe it still carries the Atmos track. Actually, I can check right here. Yeah, so the Blu-ray, at least the one that comes with the 4K, still carries the Atmos track. So you're still getting the audio. You're just going to miss out on some better color with HDR and the upgraded resolution. But if it was me and I'm looking at this and it's $25 for a 4K and $22 for a Blu-ray, I think the extra $3 makes this worth the purchase in 4K. It's going to give you a better upgraded picture experience. And then you'll always have the Blu-ray disc and a digital copy, which, you could sell off on eBay or something and make yourself back a few dollars if you do want the 4K disc. That's something a lot of people have been doing to justify the upgrade. Overall, I'd give the movie like a 3 out of 5. It's not incredible. It's nothing, too crazy, but it's not bad. It's a very solid Stephen King movie. It's something that, I probably could have easily seen going to, like just straight to Netflix or something like Gerald's Game did, or what's the other one that Stephen King movie on Netflix? There's a couple of them that went straight to Netflix, which are very good. But it's the type of movie that probably wasn't going to perform super well in the theaters. But it was definitely low budget. You had a small cast. You had a very simple setting. Not a ton of CGI. Mostly all practical effects as far as I'm concerned. That's what I saw. Maybe some small CGI, but pretty low budget. And so I'm sure they did fine. But 3 out of 5 on the movie. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 on the 4K, 4.5 on the audio, and then it's a pretty decent package. At least they're putting together features. A lot of these new physical media releases have been bare bones, no features. They're giving you extended deleted scenes, alternate ending, some featurettes, behind the scenes making of, so that that makes it worth a purchase on physical media, regardless of what you feel about streaming versus quality of a disc. This is another great reason to buy discs, is because of special features and extras that you might not get with the digital. So yeah, that's Pet Sematary. Hopefully you guys will go out and grab this on 4K. I think it's well worth the upgrade over the Blu-ray for the extra couple dollars. And yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Kind of a laid back video. Sorry, I wasn't able to get any screenshots. I was trying to do video captures, and every time I was trying to upload this, I was getting tagged with copyright strikes, and you don't want to get copyright strikes on your YouTube channel. Obviously, it'll screw you up. And so, unfortunately for this one, had to go without them, but it is a solid 4K video. You can take my word for that one. I tested on the projector and the TV. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like I said, please continue to subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, share the word, turn on the notifications so that you know right when a new video like this is posted. And then also like and comment. Let me know what you thought about Pet Sematary. Do you prefer the remake or this new adaptation or the old one? Or do you think the book is better than the movie? Let me know your opinions on Pet Sematary. I'm curious what you think about that. And then also, if you'd like to support the channel, there are many links down in the description where you can do that. There is a direct PayPal donation link. That money just goes straight to me. Whatever you donate is great. Helps me get new movies, pick up some releases that maybe the studios haven't sent me, upgrade some of my equipment, things like that. Basically just keep supporting the content and keep things growing. And another way you can support is also by going through the Amazon links that are down in the description. You can buy movies through there. I've set up a little storefront for 4K and Blu-ray movie deals, as well as other things like my home theater seating, which I'm sitting in now, my projector screen, my subwoofer, my receiver, my Blu-ray shelving. There's all kinds of stuff in there. And if you purchase anything through those links, I get a nice little kickback. I get a couple dollars here or there, but you know, every couple of months I might be able to cash out, you know, a little bit of money, and that helps me keep growing the channel and keep things going here with the content. And it just helps you support me. If you enjoy what I'm doing, I appreciate the support. So again, that's Pet Sematary 4K. I recommend it. I think it's well worth a pickup. And I'll be back soon with some more videos, so stay tuned.